Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Cheer New York, My Black Experience. My name is Matthew Brown. I am once again, the Assistant Athletic Director of the team. I've been a part of the team for 4 years, and this is
Abby Jones-Corbin. I am the coach of the Crown section of our performers here at Cheer New York. And we are here this evening to discuss it about her Black experience, Ms. Breana Edmund.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on. So about my Black experience as a cheerleader.
No, let's name how long you've been on the team, position on the team.
That's right. My name is Breana Edmund. I've been on the team for, I want to say, 3.5 years. And my position, I'm cheerleader.
Cheerleader numbers 69.
Top row.
Not the bottom, but the top.
On the top. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So, how did you get started in cheerleading?
So I started cheerleading when I was 6 years old because my brother was on the football team. Mm-hmm. So why not be on the cheer team? I actually begged my mom to put me in ballet. And then when I started cheerleading, they were like, just try it out, just try it out. And I started doing the little chairs and everything. And I was like, I like this. I'm pretty good at it.
Well, that seems to be an ongoing thing because we talked about that in
our first episodes,
yeah.
How basically a lot of us get into cheerleading, Black women get into it because our brothers are on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like if one goes, the other has to do the other one. Whether, like you said, whether you wanted to or not at first, but you got the bug.
Right,
so
exactly.
How long, so you cheered straight through? Or?
I cheered straight through for 7 years, and then I took a break when I went into high school. I went to a performing arts high school, so I danced my 4 years, and then literally right after, I was like, why did I even stop cheerleading? And I automatically started looking for a cheerleader to get on. And that's how I found a couple of teams. I was on Gotham City Cheerleaders, which was the unofficial team for the Nets, and then I immediately found Cheer New York right after, and that's where.
Okay.
So
sounds like a plan to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far your experience from 6 years old, I know you missed high school because performing arts, but same thing. And then moving into adult cheerleading, what was your experience like?
Well, when cheer is very different when you're younger. I just feel like maybe because you have this youthfulness to you, and you're so engaged in so many new things, you don't really get to see all of the backhanded stuff that happens, especially when dealing with race. I do remember that, well, since I was younger, there was always like a light skin versus dark skin type of thing. And I was on a majority Black team, so for it to even be that was like, but okay.
Yes. It happens.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
and then just seeing that growing up, when I started going on auditions and everything, like the hair thing, I know that I tried out for a lot of different teams, and I always had to make sure that I was performance ready, which to me was always like the Black Barbie doll. So you have to have your weave or whatever the case is. Your hair needs to be out and long. This one time, I showed up for an audition with braids in my hair, like the blonde twist. I didn't even make it past the first round, and I knew it. I knew that's exactly what it was.
It wasn't because of your ability.
It was not. And I know that because I tried out for the same team the year before, and when I had the Barbie doll hair, I made it to the semifinals. Then when I tried again next year, thinking, oh, okay, I'm definitely making it in this time.
You didn't make it
past the first round. No.
So you can even say that hair has something as simple as your hairstyle has played a part in your experience of being a cheerleader. And who would have ever thought that the way that I wear my hair will define my ability of being a cheerleader?
But remember, one of the things we discussed earlier, and you're bringing it back up, and you weren't even here for that conversation, is the all-American
look.
Yeah.
What is the all-American look? For you, it was like, I'm the Black Barbie doll.
I need to have straight long hair.
Straight long hair or full curly long hair.
No braids.
No braids.
No braids, no natural.
And if you know anything about Black women, we change our hair like all the time.
It's a necessity.
Yes.
Welcome to my world. I know.
Yes.
That's like, you know, that could change tomorrow.
It's not permanent. Like, no, it's not permanent. But just to elaborate, but how did that, once you said you realized it right away that was the reason, like, how did you own it? Like, what did you say to yourself? Did you say, okay, self, I'm gonna have to hide, who I really am? Because I guess you chose to have that hairstyle to be who you wanted to represent yourself as being. So when you go from that, so how do you go to what did you say to yourself to go to the next trial?
Well, I knew that, okay, I'm born with a, specific type of hair that I like. I can't change it. And I can't keep curling my hair and doing all these things to my hair. It just damages you and it diminishes I feel like it diminishes my work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I did make a switch to doing wigs, which is also me trying to preserve my natural roots.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of trying out for teams that won't accept me, in all of me,
mm-hmm.
I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped because it's really not.
Because the funny part is, I actually remember one time when you were getting ready to try out for the Philadelphia Eagles?
That was this past summer, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember we had a conversation because I think you were shaved, but you were growing your hair back out.
Yeah.
And I remember us having a conversation about you're gonna have to put some weave in because it's like it's something that we already know it's gonna come about. It's like you have to have that look.
Yeah.
If you don't have that look, then it's like you're not gonna be seen at all. So moving forward from that, so how do you approach and handle moments? Because something like that is almost like saying you're putting your blackness on hold.
Yeah.
So how do you approach and handle moments like that?
Like during the audition process?
Before, during, after, yes.
Well, I know that I think of it as like, well, it is a performance, even though it's an audition, it's a performance. And like any performance, you have to get, into that mode or into that character. So that's how I see it when it comes to situations like that, where I know I'm have to embody a certain look. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I also know that there's a lot more out there. So I try to expand now and actually do more searching in terms of what I'm getting myself into with these teams.
Because I think two things. One, I think a lot of the teams and professional teams and other teams out there for adults are learning and educating themselves on the fact that there needs to be a change.
Yeah.
There needs to be a change. Yes. If I choose to wear my hair this way, long, wig, weave, natural, curly, it should be my prerogative, not necessarily I have to fit a mold.
Yeah, and to be honest, some of them are catchy. Like the NBA, I think they're doing a great job, honestly, with it. With the amount of diversity that I see on these NBA teams nowadays, mm-hmm. I love it, and that's more what I would go towards mm-hmm. versus the NFL, that's where I thought I would be.
Right.
but when I realized it's something that like they're set in their old ways mm-hmm. and mm-hmm. something that they're not really willing to change. Mm-hmm. That's on them. Mm-hmm. They should. But yeah.
So you're making personal choices and personal decisions
yes.
to make it, which leads me back to something you said you started off with when you said when you were younger, being on a predominantly black team mm-hmm. when you were younger, and that brings up something that most people don't realize in our own race, how we have issues, colorism, mm-hmm. light skin versus dark skin.
Yeah.
When did you first? Was that the first time you realized, or when was the first time you realized that there was that issue in our own community?
Well, before even, so I was 6 when I joined cheerleading. Mm-hmm. I want to say either around that time or before, because I'm sure that's probably why my mom got me into cheerleading mm-hmm. and put me on a black team. I had an issue with bullying. My brother used to get bullied all the time, being his little sister. It just, they thought they could bully me too. Mm-hmm. So I went home to my mom one day, and I had to talk to her. I'm like, Mom, you know, they're calling me like Black and stuff like that, and I know I'm Black, but like they're also Black too.
Right. But they're using Black in a derogatory way. Like,
I
what
don't
do
know.
you mean?
I'm like,
I grew up Black.
yeah. So I'm like, I don't know, like what to do, because like they keep teasing me about it, and she just told me like, well, you know, Breana, you were born Black, and yes, you are dark skinned, but one, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I know that, and if it goes anything past that, you need to remember for yourself that you were born Black, you will wake up Black, you will die Black.
Uh-huh. Correct.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to be okay with that in yourself, and if they don't like it, it looks like they can kiss your ass.
I like small.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the, oh, you're pretty or you're handsome for a dark skin person.
Yeah.
Did you have to put that in there? Can I just be pretty or handsome?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, everybody's like, you know, they do it for light skinned people, because I was always called red bone,
Yeah.
red this.
Mm-hmm.
What red? I don't know. I didn't even know what that meant. My hair was actually red, but I didn't know what that
Right.
meant. So yeah, so besides the fact that sometimes we have to discuss and educate outside of our race, a lot of times
We have to educate.
we have to
within our
educate
race.
and discuss within our race. So
Yes.
it just makes it a little bit more, you know, challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to throw something else in here really quickly. So
Mhm.
within, other than, okay, so have you ever felt, can you name, other than the hair moment specifically, where you felt like you had to put your Blackness on hold within cheerleading?
My shaking. I mean, when you cheer, I did traditional cheer growing up, and then also Cheer New York has more of traditional style. The first thing I was taught was I have to speak like a white girl, and when I'm dancing, not to go too full out, but to like be in the pocket and, you know, kind of robotic.
Don't move your hips too much.
Don't move your hips too much, yeah.
Don't put too much flavor
I
on
can't
it.
even get past the sound like
White girl,
That
speak like
means
white girl.
we speak English.
Correct.
What did you want from us more than
But
that?
that could, because that goes back to the, almost people always think that Black people, we can't speak proper. We can't have proper dialect. We always have to use slang.
Oh,
or,
the King's English. Sorry,
Mhm.
my bad.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
mean to get all that. But yeah, I'm just being smart because I used to get that too when my mother called me.
So how does your race tie into other parts of your identity?
That's a good question. So, because I cheered for so long, and you know, the cheerleading has like a certain style to it, has a certain effect on the body
Mm-hmm.
and how you act and how you move and everything. Like I sit up tall, so I walk around. I got called I think I'm a princess because I carry myself
Mhm.
like well. I don't know what that means, but that's what it was. And then I used to get called an Oreo. Oh my gosh, all the time. And I know that I've heard that from other Black cheerleaders before, but specifically for me being West Indian, it's supposed to be more of an insult, but
But wait, explain to our viewers what an Oreo is, just in case someone doesn't know.
So an Oreo would be a Black or brown skinned person who talks proper and probably is like more bubbly, like a white person, what we would expect a white person.
Like you're Black on the outside, white on the inside.
Right. So yeah, that would be me.
I don't see it, but okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
I mean, but then also I do realize that it's a switch that happens. Like when I'm at home or when I'm on my block and everything, I act one way, and then when I'm at cheer practice or at work, I act another way.
But is it almost like when I think of that? Do you think it's almost when you're at home or around those your family or your friends, you're more relaxed to be you, and when you're at cheer practice or at work, you feel like you have to put on an additional facade so that they will accept you.
You know, that's sad part about that is I don't feel like there's a switch, but only because I feel like I'm so used to the game at this point that it's like
just
it's not
natural.
even anything.
It's second
Yeah,
nature.
yeah. So I mean,
It's almost like that voice when you answer the phone at work. Well, hello.
Mhm.
Right.
Thank you for calling. But when you pick up your cell phone, hey, what's up?
Exactly.
What's That is.
But you want to know what's funny is we were actually just having a conversation about this, like in the store just now on the way over here, about just asking her how it was work, and now that she works with more Black people, just the comfortability.
Yeah.
And what did you say?
I don't have to explain
herself. She doesn't have to explain herself.
Oh, you don't have to black explain.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because with your job before, you were working with more white people.
Yeah, well, my boss was white, and actually there were a few, she like made sure to hire a wide spectrum of like different cultures and stuff, but you know, as that being your manager, you have to have good communication. Almost 50% of the time, she could never understand what I was saying or like what I meant, and I had to repeat myself over and over again.
One of the first times, or the first time where you can remember saying, I'm proud to be a Black woman. I'm proud to be a West Indian Black woman. Or, you know, whichever one hit you the first time. Like, when can you actually say that you stood up and was like, I'm Black and I'm proud?
The first time?
Or an earlier time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my senior year of high school, I probably can say that was the proudest moment I've had, only because my mom got sick when I was really young, like let's say in 5th grade. She got sick with kidney failure, and all throughout that she was doing from 5th grade up until like me in high school around junior year. She was doing with the blood. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Transfusion?
No. Blanking on it, but I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Anyway, she was getting her blood. It's a process of getting your blood cleaned for kidney transplant.
Dialysis.
Dialysis. Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh my God. We don't use that word in the house. That's why I don't remember. Okay. So yes, she was doing that, and then we got the call. Like, I had just started this new job. I was so proud of myself because I knew that in order for me to keep up with these dance classes, I had to pay for it myself. So. And I just started this new dance school that I was like, so I was going from work, going to dance school, back and forth to school, like really making moves like I'm an adult and everything.
Adult hearing,
yeah. I was like, yeah. And then I had this end of the year performance where I had a solo and everything. And I was like, my mom's gonna come, this is great. And I took off from work. They actually didn't give me it off. I took it off.
We won't tell.
Yeah, and the night before the performance, my mom got her kidney transplant. So we had to rush over to the hospital. Literally that night before, I stayed with her all night. And then that morning, I went back home because she said, look, you're not going to miss your performance. I want you to go out and I want you to have fun and I want you to dance.
I know.
And so I rushed all the way back home, and I got my clothes and everything, and I went back to the performance hall, and I just kept giving myself that pep talk, like, you gotta get through this, get through this, get through this. And I did my dance, and then it came time for my solo, and I went out there and I danced, and I did not mess up not one bit. I was like in a different trance, like I don't even know. And then at the end, like I don't even remember telling my teacher this, but I guess my mom might have called them or told them or something, or the doctors called them. And then my teacher came out and the director came out and he explained to the crowd and everything what had gone on, and everyone stood up and they clapped.
All right.
Aww.
And I just started
I'm gonna get some tissue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you some tissue.
But that was my proud moment right there.
Oh, well, that's amazing. We all go through those moments and understanding how life really affects everything that's going on and everything that you're doing. And you never really know what someone is going through in the background, in their personal life, and what people actually have to put in to get through things. And you dealing with that as a child.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though you're a teenager, you're still
a child. Yeah, the strength that you had to pull, and then even the strength of your mother to tell you to go do the pride that she had in you and pushed you to go do that.
Correct.
So, you know, it was just, you know, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Child, I know what it's like.
Beautiful thing.
Black mom. Pushing it on.
Yep, you got to.
Woo.
So when is the first time that you experienced prejudice within your race?
I mean, as early as, 5 years old? As long as I can remember, honestly. I always used to be told, little girls are to be seen and not heard and stuff, and this is like from a family member. And yeah, and so I always grew up with that like idea that I need to be quiet, otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble, or don't say nothing because I'm gonna get in trouble. You know, don't act up, you know, do as you're told, stuff like that, which as a woman, that's like the most dangerous mindset to have, I feel like, especially once you grow up and you get into adulthood. So it's just to realize that and to breaking out of that for myself, that was the hardest struggle that I had internally. But along the way, when you have that mindset in your head, little things like, oh, she's not, like, you notice when people start to pick everyone else but you or something like that to join a group, and you're like excluded, and you know that that's exactly what it is, because you're like, I'm a dark-skinned little girl, and they're not considering me as to be like beautiful. If it wasn't for the fact that I had a strong Black mom,
exactly.
I probably would have cared more. But I don't.
Because you weren't that once again, going back to that All-American look, because you were a dark-skinned girl, people overlooked you.
Yeah, and you know what? That was my greatest strength, because it only made me work harder, to be honest with you. So if the light-skinned girl got picked because, you know, she's doing back handsprings, I know I'm doing back handsprings too. Now I do tucks. Now
I'm a one-up. I'm gonna one-up.
Yeah.
But we always have to one up. Why do we always have to one up? In order to even be considered equal. It seems like in order for them to even take you seriously, you had to one up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and in gymnastics, like you said, instead of back handspring, now I gotta throw a tuck because you don't look at me as your equal. So in coming up, because I know you did gymnastics as well as, you know, cheer. Were there any? Who did you look up to? Who did you look up to inspire you to continue? Besides mom, or maybe it is mom. Where was your representation? Who was your representation?
Besides my mom, I tried to look out into main media because that's where I wanted to be. So Gabrielle Union, oh my God. That's my sister.
We love that.
Yeah. So that's one for me. And then in high school, I had this teacher, Miss Addles. She was this beautiful dark-skinned woman with short hair and everything. Had her little because you know you always have to have not a ponytail, a bun for ballet and everything. Her little ponytail pulled back in one with her little dance skirt and everything. She was like I don't think she knows how much I looked up to her, but it's just to see her. I should back up. I went to school for professional performing arts, and so we dance majors traveled to Albany Ailey to take dance classes. So it's already like to be in the Ailey building. It's just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then to have her as like my dance teacher, and I already started at a disadvantage because I didn't get into that program until my junior year. I auditioned for the Ailey program 3 times before actually getting in. And to be honest with you, the only reason they let me in was because I auditioned 3 times. That girl really wants to be here.
Let her in.
Right, so I started with my freshman class. I started dancing with the freshman class as a junior. So I like had to play catch up, and there was nothing wrong with that. I didn't mind. I ended up leaving as one of the best ballet dancers in my class.
Okay.
In my, not my graduating class, but
in the class.
In your
Yeah.
actual class, your placement class.
yeah. So I just try to take advantage where I can, like of whatever opportunity I can grab. That's just how it is when you're Black.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And which is so, and it's sad to say that that then becomes our norm, because we are, even though we don't think that way, but our mind is already trained to think that way.
Yeah.
Those are just always the first thoughts that come into our mind, and it's become the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad to say. It really is.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Sorry.
It really is.
Had to take that one in. You're right. Absolutely right. I mean, that's why I was asking about representation, because, you know, now you looking at your dance teacher, even though you went through as a junior, hopefully there was some young girl that was looking at you saying, you know, one, perseverance. You, like you said, you tried 3 times, and you know, you did not. That first no did not stop you.
Correct.
The second no did not stop you, and you got it on your third, and then you took advantage of it. And like you said, you were one of the best, if not the best, ballet dancer coming out of your class. So hopefully there was someone who saw you, and
you were an inspiration for them.
And even though, like you said, your teacher didn't know you looked at her, you would not know. But I'm hoping that there was someone, and I believe there probably is, that looked. Because again, a lot of times we don't realize who's watching us to see how to maneuver this, how to go forward. And so a lot of times we have to, you know, like you said, even though it's not, we have to be mindful. Always mindful of what we're doing and how we're acting.
Correct.
I was at work today, and there was one of my coworkers was telling the story of how she was in Virginia with her daughter, and she stopped, you know, and a Caucasian woman said something to her and was like, "You people," and like she totally changed in that 2 seconds of the you people. But one of our other coworkers was overhearing the story of her saying how she changed, and they were like, "Really? You? I can't believe that you would go there." And I was like, "Well, why not?"
Exactly.
You know, so that's why I'm like,
the disrespect.
And so for all of us, including you, you know, we're always being watched, whether it's good, bad, this, that, or third, and we always have to do twice as much.
Yes.
And that's the weight we have to bear.
Always, because we always feel like we have to give it. It's all the pay it forward. We always got to make sure we pass it down to the next generation, so they understand what's to come for them. Because when you're younger, I think this is just with any young people, black, white, yellow, brown, boy, girl. When you're younger, you don't always want to listen to what the elders are saying, and then when you get to that age, it's like, they were right.
Yeah.
Almost like when we had the conversation yesterday after voting. After you went to vote, I voted early, you voted early, but you went to vote on election day, and I said, you went and your whole family went.
Yeah.
You all went together, and that just brought back, you know, and everybody's talking about the lines or lack thereof lines, and I'm like, do you know what the people before us had to do for us to even
be able to have that right?
To have that right, and so, you know, it's just listening to you bring back some of these, you know, memories of. And that's not even that long ago. You're younger
than us.
So it's not that far. It's not that far away. It's here. It's so prevalent. And you know, we're not here to educate. We're here to inform, so that people can go on their own and find out and understand what's really happening.
I like this change that's happening. I mean, although I know it's gonna be like hard and it's gonna be a long road. It may not even be permanent. And this may be the wave right now, and then it might be, you know, going backwards. I don't know. But from when I was younger till now, it's like you could at least be Black.
Right.
You can be Black, and it's okay. And you know, from the hair products to the styling of clothes. Like there's options out there.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any of that before.
Right.
Yeah, we could be who we want. It's not even like we all want to be natural or we all want to have, you know, dress.
But we have that option.
We have the option, and you can't take that option and make it belittle us because of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, our crown is our crown. Like you said earlier, we can change it in a whim.
Right.
I be blind tomorrow.
I can be who I want,
and
how
think I
want.
want.
when I want.
Think I won't be blind tomorrow.
Exactly.
Might even be blue. But it's
Just
just
yellow or green.
right. But it's my option, and when I go to work, you can't look at me as if I'm not
And demeanor me for
and
it.
demean me for it. Whereas before, you know, godly jewelers. I'm
Right.
sorry.
So, talking about all this wonderful stuff of being Black, when is the first time that you think that you fully experienced joy within your race?
Joy. I don't know. I feel like we just find it wherever we can. Like things like the holiday time around family and everything.
I can't wait.
Look at you.
Yeah.
He's thinking about food.
Yes, and family.
And, oh yeah, family.
It used to be summers and all my cousins would come over from Florida to like my grandma's house for the summer, and we would spend the summer together. And that would be like my family time, my proud Black family time, actually, because you know we got to play our soca music. And Eastern Parkway, we would travel to Eastern Parkway for carnival and everything.
Oh,
so yeah,
West Indian Day Parade.
yeah.
My mother used to take me. I didn't realize I was West Indian at the time though.
So let me ask you this: being that you are West Indian, what was there a difference within experience joy with just being Black and joy within being West Indian?
There's definitely a difference.
And
There's a big difference. Okay, so West Indian, I'm Trinidadian, so my family is I would say it's stricter. American Black families, I feel like they are strict, but it's different. It's different. You know, they allow their kids to go out and mingle and stuff like that. My parents did not allow me to go out and mingle with, or just like be on the streets with, even if I'm out in front of the house riding my bike. I had to be there with my brother and my cousins and everything, and you know, keep it tight, keep it within the family. And yeah, just the way that we speak is different. Like I speak like an American because I was born in America. I was born in America. I was born in North Carolina. Both my parents are Trinidadian. So all of our customs at home, everything that we do down to our food that we cook is different. So when I go out to eat, a lot of times when I was younger, I didn't even know what I would be ordering. I don't even know like what this like. What am I looking at?
Because it's so different from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was no McDonald's money. Like they weren't spending.
Right.
Yeah.
Cook with it. I got you. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I used to beg my mom to get me McDonald's. All the other kids were getting McDonald's. I was like, why was I asking for that?
You got McDonald's money?
Exactly.
We could make that at home.
Right. Burger and fries. Yeah.
With white bread. I'm sorry.
So the mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, over there.
And the bread stuck. I'm sorry.
I'm stuck to the patty.
Absolutely. Every time.
And the white bread gets stuck to the roof. Gets stuck to the roof of your mouth.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm so sorry. So, wow. Such a different spin on it from West Indian, like she said, American Black, West Indian, the culture. Basically, it's where the culture comes into play. My grandparents were off the boat, literally off the boat on Ellis Island into Brooklyn from Barbados and Jamaica, and they raised all their kids in Brooklyn. So all of them were raised, but back then, this was, and I'm dating my mom. Excuse me, Mom. But back in the when she was born in the 30s, it wasn't about being a proud West Indian. if you had the accent, it's because you just came over, but your children, they were shunned. You were not supposed to show through your accent, through your ways that you were West Indian. You're supposed to be American. And what I've noticed, because of my mother and her generation, they didn't teach us about our heritage, and I didn't learn the different recipes and things, culture of my West Indian culture, because they were trying to make sure that their children had a better life here, or what they thought would be a better life without it. And then as I got older and attending the West Indian Day parades, and my mother, showing it to me, I felt like I missed out.
Right. On a piece of you.
On a piece of me.
A part of your identity.
Yeah, because that's a part of me. Yes, I'm Black, but my heritage, my father's heritage, yes, from straight south, North Carolina, all that. But my mother's side, I missed out on that piece. And to watch young people now, yourself and other, that are allowed to be happy and proud in it and show it. You don't have to not have your accent. Yeah. If you choose,
because you can speak on and off.
You can speak on.
Switch it on, switch it off.
I can't do it the same life.
I'm sure your mom was going through exactly whatever my mom was going through, because that was her whole reasoning, and that's why I don't speak with an accent, because my mom spoke to me in the Queen's English. The Queen's English, and it was always like, Breana, well, my brother, he kind of had a party time because he was the first child.
Yeah.
So since I was born in North Carolina and he moved to North Carolina, he had a little bit of a mix of the accent between the Southern accent and, the West Indian. And he got teased for having that accent. So, I guess he over time dropped it because of that. And me, who never had it before, you could see I did a little bit better in school and everything. But I watched my brother, and I kind of grew looking at seeing what's happening to him, and then basing everything off of that. But that being said, my mom named Jason. Oh, white. And she named me Breana. My middle name is Jane.
Wow, no.
And her name's Brenda Lynn.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like she wasn't playing.
Got you. Wow. So, as we sit and talk to everybody, it's like all the different experiences
are there.
It's like a rainbow of experience. Like no one has the same experience, but yet we have the same experience.
Correct. Different but the same. So how do you showcase pride now in present day 2020, Breana, Jane, Edmund? How do you showcase pride?
I'm super proud of my Trinidadian roots. Even though I wasn't born there and I may not even get to go there as often as I'd like, I'm in love with the music, I'm in love with the culture, and that's something that I will never skip out on. I always want to be up to date on what's going on. But I also have my sisters and my nephew over there, so I always have to check in with them. And that's how I showcase pride, because I will be blasting my music.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Yeah, and I'm like, my mom's, the cursing gets her every time, but I don't care.
Yes, because it's so funny, because I remember one of the things around when we first met, and you would always be, me being someone very Americanized from the South, and you would always, we would get in the car, and you and Matt in Amanda's car, and they were both the first thing they want to turn on is soca, and they play what soca song? Then another soca song, and I'm sitting there like,
I don't know what's going on.
Something
that I know.
Yeah.
You feel left out.
What was going on?
You feel left out.
So I'm like, but it's a beautiful thing to see that, because that was something that I had to get used to moving from the South to New York, because I wasn't used to hearing it.
Yeah.
The most we would get was reggae, but then to me it wasn't.
Yeah, it was fake reggae.
Yeah, exactly. Not really. That sounds crazy. Not real.
Yeah.
But it's it's not actually what you guys listen to, and I was like, okay, it's cool, but it's just so different
because it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Culture. Yeah. Wow. So give us one word to express your Black girl magic.
Persistent. It doesn't even stop. It's just I gotta keep going.
And listen, I feel like we've had that
Conversation, like
yes.
always, we just have to keep pushing. You know, make it work. That's my favorite thing. Like I don't, no matter what happens, we just have to keep pushing. And the strength that comes down from mom to daughter, mom to son, like in the Black community is awesome. You know, when we get to give it to others and show it to others, I love it because it makes me feel as if we're just going to get stronger. Yeah, we're just going to be stronger, smarter, wiser. You know.
I think I want to throw another question in here. So, if you could leave one final message or words of encouragement to young, beautiful, dark-skinned Black girls who don't look like Barbie dolls, who don't have the American look, what would it be?
I would say, I know it's not easy given that, like, I struggled myself with finding my own voice, but I would say do what makes you happy and stick with it.
You heard it here first.
Yes, she did.
From Breana, Jane, Edmund. I just can't.
Yes.
No, but honestly.
Yes, so Bree, thank you for coming and speaking with us and having a wonderful conversation and sharing your experiences, your intimate moments. Yeah. Because sometimes it's not hard. Not hard. Sometimes it's not easy.
Because that's the truth. You know, speak your truth, live your truth, be your truth, and that's what we have to showcase and show everyone. You know, again, like I said, we're all different, but we have a lot of the similar things that have gone on in different ways, and also trying to remember, because I think a lot of times we cut ourselves off from those memories. Yeah. Until someone brings it back to our remembrance, like, well, did this happen? And you're like, you know what? It did. You know, and unfortunately, I think a lot of times we suppress it.
Yeah, we do.
Because, you know, we think that either something's wrong with it was a bad thing, or I just learned to live with it and I moved on. But we have to remember those things so that, again, we can share. We share with you, we share with you what it's like and our experience so that you can go ahead and educate yourself.
And I don't want to drag it out, but only because you said that. I also think that we suppress it until moments like for us, because as we told you guys before, we coach together, and Bree also coaches with us. Yeah. We coach together, so we spend a lot of time together. And I think that when you step into roles of coaches, teachers, the people that really are dealing with youth and passing things on, it flips a switch and you kind of stop suppressing because you're really diving into it and dealing with and seeing the youth and the kids, and
you start to see yourself
or
somebody else that you remember, or something that happens, and through these past few weeks as we've been doing this, I'll sit back and like, I almost forgot about that. But that helped shape you, shape me, and
then we help mold and shape
others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we pretty much do every day. Every day. Well, thank you so much, Bree. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Cheer New York,
My Black Experience.
See you next time.